Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching Today I Found Out, and in the video today, that time a 73-year-old Frank Sinatra was offered the leading role in Die Hard. At the start of his movie-making career, Frank Sinatra was cast mostly in singing roles, even though he did eventually manage to break away from being a singer employed as an actor, and he made a name for himself as an actor alone, winning a few Academy Awards and Golden Globes for his performances. That said, many people these days can't shake that image of young Sinatra crooning into a microphone, not exactly something you'd imagine the character of John McClane in Die Hard doing. So why was Frank Sinatra originally offered the part of John McClane? Well, it all started with an author named Roderick Thorpe. You might not know it, but the Die Hard movie was actually loosely based on a book called Nothing Lasts Forever by Thorpe, which was published in 1979. The LA Times reviewed the book, saying it was a ferocious, bloody, raging book so single-mindedly brilliant in concept and execution that it should be read at a single sitting. This book is really what made Thorpe a big name, but he was on the publishing scene much earlier. It turns out that Nothing Lasts Forever is actually a sequel to a book called The Detective, which was published in 1976, which was made into a movie of the same name in 1968. The movie starred, as you might have guessed by now, Frank Sinatra as the main character, Detective Joe Leland. The book was extremely popular, remaining on bestseller lists for a while and making a name for Thorpe. The movie also did well in the box office. It was described as gritty for its time, dealing with issues like homosexuality, but it was decidedly less action-packed than the Die Hard movies that we know today. Die Hard itself wasn't picked up by producers until nearly 10 years after the book it was loosely based on was published. Because the movie was technically a sequel to The Detective, they were contractually obliged to offer Frank Sinatra the leading role. He was 73 years old at the time and gracefully turned the offer down. After Sinatra rejected the part, the role was actually offered to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they switched things up a bit, pitching it as something of a sequel to the actor's 1985 film Commando, rather than a sequel to The Detective. Schwarzenegger also turned down the offer, and instead Bruce Willis was cast in the leading role, with the character renamed John McClane instead of Joe Leland. Willis was not exactly the kind of person the studio was hoping to cast in the role, though. At the time, he was mostly only known for comedies, not action movies. But they had been turned down by a variety of other actors since offering the role to Sinatra and Schwarzenegger, and they had to settle for Bruce. The movie, of course, did extremely well. With a budget of just $28 million, which is about $59 million today, the film grossed about $140 million by the time it was out of theaters, which is about $294 million today, and it also earned 4 Academy Award nominations and was generally very well received by critics. The franchise of Die Hard is seemingly still going strong, although its original writer and main character have since passed away. Sinatra died in 1998 at the age of 82, while Thorpe passed away in 1999 at the age of 62. Willis, meanwhile, had his career made by the Die Hard movies, and despite now getting up there in years, being in his 60s, he remains involved in other action movies. So who knows, maybe we will still see a 73-year-old actor play the role of John McClane. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below. Do not forget to subscribe. Brand new videos just like this every day of the week. Also over there on the right, some other videos that you might enjoy if you enjoyed this one. And as always, thank you for watching.